I think we're getting to a point in this bull market where it's going to become unstoppable. And when I say unstoppable, let me explain what I mean. We touched 100,000 yesterday, and I was reading this article, and in this article, it used the words seismic shift in the approach that the government is happening. We touched 100,000 yesterday, and I was reading this article, and in this article, so it used the words seismic shift, and I think that the words seismic shift here are exactly what's actually going on. I don't know if you guys have been following, but we also got a thing today where Trump is open to the idea of an American first strategic reserve that would prioritize digital coins founded in the United States, like Solana coin and Ripple. So now we've got Trump talking about the idea of a US altcoin strategic reserve. Now that to me is exactly what it is. It's a seismic shift. And that sent XRP up. XRP is now at $3.35. Solana is flying, and there's probably another 10 altcoins which are US made coins, which are actually going to fly. So today I'm going to show you why I think there is a seismic shift. I'm going to show you why it's going to make the rest of this bull market pretty much unstoppable. And then I'm going to talk to you about the 10 coins or 15 coins that are going to pump if this Trump altcoin strategic reserve is a real thing. So if that sounds good to you, enjoy the show, smash the like button, subscribe, and let's go. You know, I used to think that it was just us, like it was a crypto thing, but now my normie friends are pretty much coming to me and they're saying to me, well, you know what, what's going on with this crypto thing? Why is everybody talking about this crypto thing? Why is the government being so loud about crypto? And then I kind of realized that, hold on a second, like this crypto thing is way, way, way bigger than this echo chamber that we've actually lived in. And I think that we're about to enter this phase in the market where I think it's going to be, I think it's from this point on, pretty much the bull market becomes unstoppable. Now, I think we are going to have hiccups along the way, and I'm going to show you some of those hiccups as we go. But I think we're at a point now where this bull market is about to get huge momentum. And I spoke about it yesterday, and I said, look, with the inflation numbers out of the way, I really think that there's not much that can actually stop this market. And since the lows of the fear, we have Bitcoin up about 13%. And so I really think that now we're starting to gain this momentum, which is going to take us into the next part of the bull market. And I think the next part of the bull market is going to be very, very, very aggressive, right? And that's why the other day I made a list and I said, look, let's just make a list. Let's just buy the tokens that you want to be buying. Let's position ourselves in the narratives that you want to be positioned in, because if you miss this boat, I don't know when you're going to get another chance, or if you're going to get another chance to think and to position your chips in this bull market. Now, I must say, like, given the last couple of days, and I know it's really, really early, I'm very, very, very comfortable with the tokens that we actually allocated to. Tokens like Solana, which got the boost today from this Trump news, and we'll talk about the Trump news in a couple of seconds. 𝗬𝗎, the darling of the bull market. But most importantly, I'm excited about this move in AI agents. A lot of the agents are up 100%, 150%. Some of them are called in front runners. You can see that there's massive, massive, massive moves from these AI agents, and we're going to talk about that today. I'm also super excited about the fact that we're now at $100,000 on Bitcoin, and I think it's the healthiest $100,000 that I've ever seen. So we recovered from a point of, if you want to call it like peak fear. So this was like, you want to call it peak fear. That was there when everyone was capitulating. Then we recovered about 12.5%, and we went to $100,000. But we're doing this probably in the healthiest of conditions. And when I say the healthiest of conditions, one of the things is the speed at which the market recovered showed the resilience, or the part of the cycle that we're in where we're at huge resilience. The funding rates are, I mean, these are the healthiest funding rates I've seen. To think that Bitcoin is at $100,000, these are the funding rates, pretty neutral, depending on where you look, but pretty neutral funding rates. And if you look at where the open interest is, the open interest is down about 30 to 40% from when we got the highest open interest. So we're pretty much at $100,000. We're all like 100% reset. And we seem to have this like massive, massive, massive momentum that's gathering ahead of the inauguration, which happens on Monday, right? I think this momentum is pretty much unstoppable. And the reason why I said that I think the momentum is pretty much unstoppable, I think that I've had normies, as I say, calling me and asking me, hold on, I really want to understand why people are talking so much about crypto. Remember that, like, we live in this market every single day. We spend like every day on crypto Twitter, watching crypto YouTube shows, doing crypto research. So for us, we take a lot of things for granted, right? And we take the fact that things have improved so much. We think that everybody else knows exactly what we know and that they've been in touch. But for normies, for people that are not in this thing every single day, what they're doing is they read articles like this. And when they see articles, this is not a crypto post. This is the New York Post. This is not a crypto publication. The normies, when they read the publications, they see things like the entire market is relieved. We have a seismic shift. They see the crypto ball that's happening pre the inauguration. You know how much tickets to this crypto ball are? The tickets range between $2,500, but those tickets are sold out. And some people paid $1 million, okay? I thought it was garbage, but I spoke to someone last night who said to me he paid $100,000 for a VIP ticket to this crypto ball. So what you can see is that there's like this unstoppable momentum that's happening around the inauguration, but it's specifically a very, very, very strong crypto momentum. And the reason why I think it's happening is because I think we have the right people pushing crypto now. I think we have people like 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. I think we have a cabinet that's around Trump that's very, very, very crypto friendly. And these people are not only politicians. In fact, most of them aren't actually politicians. Most of them are actually get shit done people, right? Like, I think if you think about the people that Trump has surrounded himself with, to a large degree, they've got a couple of things in common. The first thing is a lot of them are crypto friendly. The whole Trump family is crypto friendly. Elon is crypto friendly. Vivek's crypto friendly. Everyone that Trump surrounds himself with is crypto friendly. The second thing is that they're not politicians. Now, if you think about the previous Democrat government and the last couple of years where we've had the hostile government, right? That cabinet or those people were all career politicians. Now we have business operators, and the difference between a politician and a business operator is that business operators actually get shit done. Where politicians are great at standing in front of the market and spinning a narrative to the market, business people actually get shit done. And those are the kind of people that Trump's actually surrounded himself with. Like, you look at 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, this guy, Mark Andreessen, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, these guys know how to get shit done, right? That's what it's about. And they are the ones that are championing and are leading the crypto initiative. And that's why we're getting this huge momentum that's happening into crypto. And so I think that we're at a point now where I think this momentum is going to become unstoppable. Right now, Trump's not even in power, and already we're getting all these announcements and stuff like that. I think that as soon as he does get into power, you've got all these things that are going to happen. Like, I love this tweet. Andrew says, the SEC's been neutered, right? He says that there's a Bitcoin strategic reserve, which I think is right. He said the SAB 121, which was this act that prohibited the banks from holding cryptocurrency, that's now been nuked. You can see what's going on here. This nation state game theory. You can see this momentum that's actually going on here. And initially, I must say, I thought that maybe there were a whole lot of election promises, but it seems that now Trump and the people around him are very, very, very serious about putting the United States on the map when it comes to crypto. Listen to this.
Onslaught at lower prices. I'm pledging today that in my second term, we will eliminate a minimum of 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. We'll be able to do that quite easily, actually. And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin.
So Trump seems to be pretty serious about making America the crypto capital for Bitcoin and crypto. Josh, just do me a favor. Is the like button broken? You know what it is? It's not the like button's broken. I forgot to tell you guys. Just smash the like button. That's how we get people to watch the show. That's what tells the algorithm that we're here. If you're enjoying this, destroy the like button. Let me carry on telling you what I see around Trump. So he's really, really serious. And the people around him are really, really serious about putting the United States on the map when it comes to crypto. And today we had this announcement or this article that was written. And in this article, it comes from this New York Post article over here. There's a part in the article that says, While many cryptocurrency communities have been cheering the pro-crypto executive orders Trump is expected to issue, one is causing controversy. The idea of an American-first state reserve that would prioritize digital coins founded in the United States, like Solana, USD Coin, and Ripple. In recent weeks, Trump has met with the founders of these coins, sources say, and is receptive to the idea. So now they're talking about an America-first strategic reserve actually made up of altcoins. Now, initially I thought, this doesn't sound right. It kind of sounds like garbage. It kind of sounds like this reporter doesn't understand the difference between Bitcoin and altcoins. But then the market actually started to respond to it. And you can see that the most American coin, which has now become XRP. So XRP miraculously became the most American coin. Why? Because it was birthed, or it was born in the United States. It beat the SEC. It funded a lawsuit against the SEC. The company, I don't even know if there is a foundation, but the company is in the United States. It's a docs company. The founders of the company have met with Trump. Have met with Trump. And so what's happened is now XRP's become the American darling. And as a result of the fact that it's become the American darling, you can see that now people are starting to talk, I think, quite seriously actually, about the flippening of ETH, of XRP and Ethereum. Believe it or not, the talk on the retail normie platforms is that XRP is actually going to flip Ethereum. Now, I know that sounds absolutely crazy, and logically probably doesn't make any sense, right? But in the bull market, remember, all logic goes out the window. And bull markets are actually all about hype. And you shouldn't stand in the way of a moving trade. Now, look, I must say, I'm not invested in XRP because fundamentally I don't believe in what the coin does. But I am marveled at exactly what's going on here and how much this coin's actually running on this America First narrative. I wonder, do I have a picture? Here we go. So there's the picture of Brad Garlinghouse and the Ripple Council at Mar-a-Lago with Trump. And Trump's been meeting with a whole lot of these American so-called founders, right? So if you look at the coins that have been the most positively affected, the number one coin that has been affected by this announcement is of course Ripple. Then you've got XRP. Then you got Solana. Solana's bounced from I think 180 to about $2.10. Not exactly an overwhelming bounce compared to XRP. Then you got 𝗔𝗓𝗓. So 𝗔𝗓𝗓 also up, also bounced based on this news, 11.94% on this news. Then you've got 𝗪𝗓𝗓, another one of these American coins that has bounced on this news of the American Strategic Reserve. Now, I think we made a sheet. Oh, there's another one, XLM. So Stellar Lumens, 100% headquartered in the United States or in San Francisco. And that Stellar Lumens is also up today, 2%. But in general, look at the run that Stellar Lumens has had. It's had a 500% run since November. 500%, 5x coming from this American coin narrative. So Trump has been meeting all of these guys. You can see here's a list of the coins that we've identified that we believe will benefit out of this American issued coins. Is Cardano not American issued? It's not, right? It's not Cardano issued. The founders in America. So I think it's unclear as to who Trump is going to favor. If you look strictly at tokens that are American issued by American foundations or American corporations, this is the best list that we could come up with. Now, I'm sure there are more. XRP, we know that it's Ripple Labs is the issuer. Then you got Sol. Sol Labs is not the issuer. I think the Solana Foundation was the issuer, but I think it's also was domiciled in the United States. AVAX is headquartered in New York. XLM is headquartered in San Francisco. Algorand, headquartered in Boston. Aptos, headquartered in Palo Alto. Sui is a tricky one because Sui, the founders are in the United States, but the issuer of the token is in Cayman. So maybe Trump passed that. And then you got some smaller ones. You got Render, you got Ondo, and then you got 𝗔𝗓𝗓. So 𝗔𝗓𝗓, another one that has that benefited. Let's just quickly go to the 𝗔𝗓𝗓 chart. 𝗔𝗓𝗓 chart. You can see another one that's actually really benefited from this announcement. So the American coins running on the news of this American Strategic Reserve. Now, truth, I don't really believe that Trump is going to make an altcoin strategic reserve. I think that that his hands are going to be full trying to get a Bitcoin strategic reserve. But I do think that Trump is a pro-American. He loves bringing American businesses to America. He wants to make America win. And so even if it's not in the form of a strategic reserve, we had his grandson, Eric Trump, hint, I think this was in Abu Dhabi, it was in Abu Dhabi, where he hinted that maybe there'd be less taxes that there will be less taxes on capital gains realized on American coins versus non-American coins. So he said this, you can make what you want of it.
To the United States Treasury, who pledged to make crypto tax-free. I mean, think about all these incredible things.
So they could look at different tax breaks for American coins. They could look at other incentives. But I do think that they are very, very, very serious. And that there is a narrative in the Republican Party that they want to bring the industry back onshore, back into America. Listen to this.
I think we have an opportunity to bring Democrats on board with conservative policies, making sure that the United States of America is leading in the digital asset space and not simply giving our authority away to other countries who are moving forward in the legislation in that space.
So I think for American coins, I think this bull market's going to become unstoppable. And I don't think it's going to be only American coins. I think it's also American businesses that are working in crypto. So I think, for example, MicroStrategy will be one of the biggest gainers. In fact, let's quickly jump and have a look at what MicroStrategy is doing or has done in the last couple of days. It is at 353. The low was 290, and that was a few days ago. That was there. That was on the 2nd of Jan. It hit 284. So I think it's going to be, Trump's really going to make this a crypto-friendly environment, and he's going to try and bring all the coins back on there. Because remember that now the US has a lot of catch up to play. Like they are probably 8 years behind in terms of where they should have been. Because had they had done this 8 years ago, had Trump come into office 8 years ago with this crypto-friendly mentality, I know that he did come into office before that, but he didn't come in with a crypto-friendly mentality. And now they're realizing how unstoppable this market is, and how the winner in this market will generate more tax revenue, will bring in more brain power, may even get a strategic advantage politically. They're all realizing now how important this thing, and now they've got to play a whole lot of catch up, and that's exactly what they're doing. So that is the altcoin reserve that Trump is talking about. And again, I'd be very, very, very surprised if there was an altcoin reserve. I think that Trump's hands are very, very, very tied up with the Bitcoin reserve. As far as the strategic Bitcoin reserve goes, a lot of people have been asking me, well, when do you think Trump will implement the Bitcoin strategic reserve? Truth is, I don't know and I don't care. All I know is that it is on the cards. And for as long as it is on the cards, a couple of things happen. Like you can see that 20 strategic reserve bills incoming across the United States, Texas, 20 strategic reserve bills incoming across the United States. Texas Senator filed first one today. That's coming from AIXBT. And I think the reason why I'm so excited about this is because notice how we're actually getting our news from an AI agent. This is like the future. This is why I'm so excited about AI agents. But anyway, you can see that a lot of bills have been introduced. Texas Senator 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 introduces a bill to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve in his state. Oklahoma introduced a bill for strategic reserve. Ohio becomes the third state to consider. It's going to happen. And a lot of people ask me, when is it going to happen? As Cynthia Luma says, T-minus 6 days until we can actually begin. The truth is, I don't really care when it happens. And I don't think that when it happens actually impacts the price of Bitcoin. And I'll tell you why. I think for as long as the narrative and the talk is that a strategic reserve is going to happen, then I think the momentum continues. And to be honest, the longer the momentum continues, the better, right? But as long as we don't, this all holds true as long as we don't get some kind of pause in the road where they say, oh, it can't happen, or we thought it could happen, but this changed and that changed. The longer it takes, the more the anticipation will cause the market to go up. Not only that, as long as the ball is continuously in motion in the United States around this strategic reserve, then I think the game theory of the government, the nation state strategic reserve play comes into play, right? So this is from 𝗕𝗘𝗅𝗧𝗛𝗓. I think he's from Bitwise. He says, we just provided some information for a nascent state asking about Bitcoin ETFs, considering moving some exposure from foreign currency bonds into Bitcoin. I think that it's this game theory about actually holding Bitcoin as part of your strategic reserve as a country, as an inflation protection, as a debt protection. I think for as long as the US doesn't rule out a strategic reserve, the game theory is in play. And I think that even if we do get a strategic reserve, I don't see the US taking money or printing money to go and buy Bitcoin. I see them just holding the Bitcoin that they've got in a strategic reserve initially. And so for now, as long as we don't get the strategic reserve cancelled, I think the momentum is forward. And all we actually care about is the forward momentum, right? Yeah. So, and I mean, talking about forward momentum. So you've literally got Trump bull posting, as Alex Beck says, you got Trump bull posting it at this point. You got US crypto reserves, you got no crypto tax, you've got mass buying of ETH, you got an intent for 150K Bitcoin. How are you not bullish? And that's why I really think that we at this point now, where the momentum is so strong that very, very, very soon, you're not going to be able to stop this market. You've got the right people moving into Wall Street. You've got 𝗕𝗘𝗟𝗓, who's been a massive Bitcoin bull, and he's now been selected as vice chairman of the subcommittee on digital assets. So here's another one, another pro-crypto. This is very, very, very positive pro-crypto amendment. You've got Forbes reporting that Trump's going to give that Trump is going to put an executive order on day one when he actually comes in. You've got this article talking about the seismic shift in the market. You've got this shift around investment managers who are now 2 times more likely to invest in crypto in 2025, right? The risk, I'll remind you that 8 years ago and 4 years ago, the risk was whether Bitcoin would live or Bitcoin would die, whether altcoins would live or altcoins would die. That was a discussion. Now that discussion is completely off the table. Now the discussion that's on the table is how high are we going to go and how likely are you actually going to invest? So I think we've reached really reached a point in this bull market where it's almost unstoppable. And the truth is, I think the charts are actually showing you exactly the same thing. I'll show you some of the charts which I'm looking at, but I'm also going to show you the bear case, because I think that that's the way to talk about it. Someone says we're dumping, put on the praise song. Oh my goodness, we're at 98,000. Oh, we must be dumping. 98,000. We went from 98.8 to 97.8. We're dumping. Anyway, let's look at the charts. While the market dumps, let's look at the charts. The first thing is you need to look at what Trump is walking into. Trump is walking into an environment where let's look at the fundamentals before we look at the charts. Number one, Trump is walking into an environment where yields are very, very, very high. Interest rates are very, very, very high. Now, the big question is whether interest rates have actually topped. In the previous Trump cycle, interest rates topped a few days before the inauguration. And the same thing for the Dixie, right? So in the previous Trump inauguration, the Dixie topped a few days before the inauguration. Now, we are at a point where Bitcoin is at 98,000 and the Dixie is at 109,000 to 109. Very few people can understand that this is one of the highest levels that the Dixie has been at. And when the Dixie gets this high, usually risk assets are supposed to take a smack. And here we are with the Dixie at 109, and Trump is coming in with a very high interest rate and a very high Dixie. The logical reality is that Trump's going to do everything in his power to reduce interest rates so he can stimulate the economy and to keep the dollar from getting too strong. He does not want a strong dollar because it makes America uncompetitive. Now let's move to a world where the Dixie strengthens to 101 by 10%. What happens to Bitcoin? Logically, you could say there's a minimum move of 10% in Bitcoin. And so the thesis that I've got here is that Trump's walking into the highest interest rate environment with the highest Dixie environment, and he's going to engineer for this to be going down. So that's the first part of the Dixie. And I think this tweet summarized it quite well. It says, here's our path for the next few weeks. Cool CPI, Trump inauguration, Trump saying dollars yields are too high, and a little bit more dovish FOMC. And I think the setup for the little bit more dovish FOMC is the PPI numbers, which came in under expectations, and the CPI numbers, which came in at expectations, which kind of softens what Jerome Powell can say when we next see him when do we next see Jerome Powell? We next see him on the 29th of January. So I think that's one of the big things. Also, I think that if you look at global money market assets, the global money market assets are at $10 trillion. Okay, so that means that there's $10 trillion earning money market returns. Currently, money market returns are about 4.5% or whatever the number is. When the interest rates go down, where is this $10 trillion going to go? Because if you're a money market manager and you're earning 4% now, which becomes 3.5%, which becomes 3%, which becomes 2.5%, where are you going to allocate your money? And all this money is going to move into risk assets. So that is the environment that we're walking into. Now, look, as I mentioned, there are one or two risks, because I don't want to make this like a shill, sell show, drink Kool-Aid show. I want this to be like a real show. So number one, we do have to worry about what's going to happen with inflation. Right now, inflation seems to be at 2.9%. They want to get it down to 2%. We have to make sure inflation doesn't go up. That's a big risk that is on the horizon. The other risk that a lot of people don't want to talk about is the Bank of Japan, and the fact that they could increase interest rates either at their next meeting or the one that they're having in March. Now, when they do, that could cause fears of the Japanese yen cash and carry trade unwinding. And I think you guys remember what happened the last time that happened. The markets went down 25%. Bitcoin went down 25% on that news. The stock markets also went down. So they do have a Bank of Japan meeting. When is the next Bank of Japan meeting? There's a Bank of Japan meeting coming up soon. And we must just keep our eyes open on the Bank of Japan. Okay, lastly, before we go, I want to talk about the charts. I want to show you in the charts what I'm so excited about. So when I look at the charts, a couple of things are showing me that we may be ready for the next move up. The first one that I want to talk about is the Bollinger Bands. So the Bollinger Bands tell you when there is an imminent move in the Bitcoin price, right? You made this chart, didn't you? So can you explain it to me?
Yeah, when the Bollinger Bands are like so contracted, you can see.
Yes.
It suggests that we're going to have a move. It can be up or down, but like suggesting the macro factors, then Trump is going to go up.
Okay, so basically what happens is when the Bollinger Band squeezes, it means that there's going to be a move. Now the move can be up or down. So when Bollinger Band squeeze, last time we had a Bollinger Band squeeze, it was here. You can see exactly what happened here. We climbed from about 38,000 and we climbed all the way up to 70,000. Every time the Bollinger Bands squeeze, we usually get an aggressive move. The tighter the squeeze, the bigger the move. The Bollinger Bands are starting to squeeze at the moment. If you chart that against other factors like the RSIs and stuff like that, it looks like the move is going to be up, right? Now, another thing which I looked at, which made me think a little bit, challenged my thinking. And what it was I was looking at the Bitcoin price and I was like, hey guys, like we had a great year last year. Like 2024 was a very, very, very good year for Bitcoin. We went up about 160% or whatever we went up 100%. But then, so people know you here, bro. They say a Romanian researcher in the house. Everyone knows, like they know you're Romanian, bro. Andrew Tate, it's Andrew Tate's brother. Yeah, this is his name is 𝗬𝗘𝗓𝗪. He's Andrew Tate's brother.
Little brother.
Andrew Tate's little brother. It's like the little brother. He's gonna do a stream without a shirt on soon, because you're an Andrew Tate's brother, bro. So initially when I looked at this, I was like, wow, we've had a 100% move on Bitcoin. That's like a massive move in a year. But then, they always say like, adjust your time frame. And Fred Krueger actually adjusted my time frame where he said, Bitcoin is only up 44% since November 21. Apple is up 59% and Meta is up 81% since then. So it just depends what time frame you're looking at. And he's looking at it on a much broader time frame. And he's saying, look, compared to Apple or Meta, actually Bitcoin hasn't done that well. And so even though you guys have done great, there's a massive catch-up trade if you want to catch up the S&P. Remember that last year we didn't track the S&P very well. That was the problem. Like we really didn't track the S&P very well. Yeah, and I mean, just if you look at fractals, I'm not a big fractals guy, but if you look at fractals, it does look like this fractal can be playing the same game that the 2023 fractal played. These two may start looking exactly the same. So, you know, like you can look at the fractals and you can say, okay, yeah, it does feel similar. So I think you got to take a view. Hold on, people are calling me. Oh my God. Okay. So people are no. Okay. We'll address that. People are commenting in the management group. Thanks, Paolo. Thank you. Cool. So that's that. When it comes to altcoins, this I don't know. Sheldon doesn't tweet a lot, but when he does tweet, every now and then he gets a banger, right? And he said, "Get ready. Every time a president walks through the doors, Bitcoin dominance collapses and goes to the moon." And he's actually 100% right. Like if you look at every single time that people walk, every single time a president walks through the doors, you basically get Bitcoin falling off Bitcoin dominance falling off a cliff, and that usually sends the altcoins into motion, right? So Bitcoin dominance falls off a cliff, then altcoins start moving into motion, and maybe we get the same thing now. Eric Crown says he's pointing at the fact that you've got the lower high and the lower high and the lower high, and you got like this on the Bitcoin dominance chart, which you can see here, and here, and he's like saying that now this Bitcoin dominance is very, very much in a downward play, and that could set off the altcoins, and then we could get like a scenario like this when it comes to altcoins. So all in all, I think that like we are getting to a point now where it's becoming unstoppable. I think that you can look at this market and say, I've missed the run, and then you're like, oh God, I've missed the run. I'm going to wait for a pullback. But that would probably mean that you've never been here in a bull market before, because in a bull market, in a raging bull market, in a raging altcoin run, there are no pullbacks. I want to just show you like how quickly this thing runs and how the market actually stops. So I'll show you. Let's go onto the weekly here, and then you can see it here on the weekly. So here it is. So you can see that when the market actually starts running, like there was a pullback here, and there was a pullback here, but just look at how quickly this market actually runs. And so you may be here and you go, look, I've missed the run. I'm going to wait for a pullback. Truth is, the next time you look, it's here, here, and here. I think it's time, if you're sitting on the sidelines, from someone who's been here for multiple bull markets, I would say it feels like instinctively you should be deploying now. I don't think it's too late. I think that this market won't forgive you if you, the longer the bull market goes on, the less it will forgive you. Now, there is one theory that could say that maybe the altcoin season is kicked down the road, and that is about when the Fed starts to reduce its balance sheet. So when will the Fed actually start reducing its balance sheet and actually putting more money into the market? And you can see that it's probably not going to happen in the next meeting. It'll probably only happen in the March 19th meeting, which means that the real, like the crazy alt season may actually only start out here. Cool. So that is why I think that these bull markets are going to run, because that this bull market's going to get huge momentum and pretty much going to become unstoppable, right? I think I've laid it out for you guys. I think a lot of it has got to do about the seismic shift in the US government. And I think that the reality of the seismic shift in the US government is actually starting to filter in, if you want to call it that. Even in Romania, it's filtering in. Yeah. Speaking of like governments, I want to actually, I'm not a big meme coin fan, so to speak. I'm much more around the AI agents. The AI agents have been much better for us. There's a token that I had a call with the other day. There's a team that I had a call with the other day. It's actually the Shiba Inu team, right? So like, I mean, for those of you who don't know Shiba Inu was the meme coin that was launched on ETH. But then it quickly became an un-meme coin. So it started off as a meme coin, but then it like became an un-meme coin. And it became like a utility coin, and they launched Shibarium, and they launched the L2, and they launched a whole lot of utility-based projects, right? And I jumped onto a call with the Shiba Inu team the other day, and they launched a new project. The project is called Treat, and you should probably go and check it out. They're one of our sponsors. You should probably go and check out Treat. What is Treat? Treat is effectively a tech stack which includes all the components that a government, a corporation, a company, a foundation, anything needs to migrate from Web 2 to Web 3. So it's basically got this like tech stack, which allows any entity to migrate from Web 2 to Web 3. Now, what do I mean by tech stack? An identity module, a voting module, it's like almost think about like a tech stack for everything that you need to migrate your business, your company, your country from Web 2 to Web 3. Now, they've launched a token around this tech stack, which is called 𝗓𝗓𝗓. It's this token over here. I think it's got about $100 million market cap. Go and read the documents. Go and check it out. It's brand new. It only launched yesterday. I spoke to the team 2 days ago, just before the launch. Very, very, very cool idea. I think that the idea only works if a government actually bites. They claim that there is a government that has actually bitten. Okay, now, I know who the government is. I think there's a greater than zero chance that it's true based on who the government is. I'm obviously not allowed to mention who the government is. I think there's a greater than zero chance that it is. But go and look at it, because I think that it is. I think that it is something that it's novel. Like having a tech stack, a whole tech stack around a blockchain that allows people, that allows anyone to migrate from Web 2 to Web 3. To me, is quite a novel idea. So go and check it out. The token is called 𝗓𝗓𝗓. Shiba Inu 𝗓𝗓. That's what it is. They are one of our sponsors. You can read everything. There's a link below that shows you everything about the project. Otherwise, let's just gay Jesus Murad will keep pumping. I said yesterday, I think Murad's going to die on the sword of meme coins, while the whole market's going to move to AI coins. And I'm very worried that he's going to wreck his followers. Anyway, that's for tomorrow's show. Today, I will see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.